How's it going, guys? Welcome to Audio Addiction. We have Tennessee Rose with us tonight. She can say her name, what she does, and all that jazz.
Hello. Thank you for having me. This is very cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you for so much for coming on. I obviously have to ask the tried and true question, which is, that I ask all of my bands on here is like, how did you start out with music? Um, I guess like, what was your first like inclination to music? Has that always been like a part of your life? Is your family pretty musical, or were you just like, I love music, I'm gonna start doing it, and that's the vibe?
Oh, wow. Well, I would say I think music has been in my life since I can remember. My family is definitely very
Okay.
musical on both sides. My mom was always playing piano, and my I don't know, there was a piano at my grandparents' house. It was like everywhere I went, if there was a piano, I was going to try to play it.
that
Um,
that's very cool. And like, when did you realize you're like, man, I want to start like writing my own music and like wanting to kind of like delve into like the solo aspect of it? Did you ever feel like you wanted to like be in a band and like go that route, or have you always been like, I want to do the solo stuff, so I'm gonna continue down that lane?
um, I feel like when I was a kid, it was like a natural thing to want to create.
Sure, yeah.
Uh, so like when I did have access to a piano, I was just doing my own thing usually. But I did like a lot of classical music, so I tried to memorize Fur Elise at one point. That was that was my goal. It didn't get too far enough to enjoy it. Um, but as far as the band and doing solo stuff, I was invited to play bass guitar for a band, a friend of mine's band at the time. It was called Watcher.
Very cool.
Um, yeah, and that was a lot of fun, and that was something I didn't expect. I had just, bought a bass on a whim. Someone was selling it. And so I was playing with that, and he invited me to play, and then that was such a cool thing to be a part of.
Very neat. And then I guess like as you said, you kind of got the like itch when you were playing bass. Like, when did you realize like you're like, man, I can like sing, or like, and I can start like doing my own solo stuff? When was that? Was it kind of like in your mind? Because like for me, like I Ryan had sent, shout outs to Ryan, he had sent me your stuff, and I was like, man, this is like really good. And I was just thinking to myself, I was like, I just need to know like how it all kind of like came to be. So like, when did you really like delve in and like hone down on like wanting to like be a solo artist and do Tennessee Rose?
I think it took a really long time because I really enjoyed being part of a band, and I still do. I like the collaborative aspect, and I feel like I am pushed further when I'm in a collaborative
Sure.
situation. So I still very much love the band, but I found myself. I feel like I need to push myself when I am on my own because
Sure,
I
yeah.
I think I tend to lean on my bandmates a little too much. And so part of it was like I need to grow as a musician
Hmm.
and as a performer. And then also I didn't want to be in a situation where, oh, this band member can't make it or this one can't make it, so we can't do the gig. I just want to always have to be able to say yes.
Yeah. And then also you could like look yourself in the mirror and be like, why didn't you do that today? Because like,
Right.
you can't blame anybody else. I feel that same responsibility about doing this,
Yeah.
because I told Ryan, I was just like, I like made a post about like having bands on, and I've literally gotten like 50 plus messages, and I have to
Wow.
cycle through all of them and stuff like that. So like, I totally understand the responsibility of like being, I guess, your own boss per se,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so it comes with a lot of responsibility. So I can only imagine being like a solo artist, having that kind of like, i need I need to push myself, because if I
Mhm.
don't, no one else, like, the music's not going to come out. So
Yeah. Yeah.
very cool.
Well,
Like,
that makes me feel so special that you chose to interview me out of your pool to interview me so quickly. That's awesome.
I'm sure I'm gonna have plenty of time. Listen, this is the thing that I love to do, so
Nice.
I try to make as much time as I can to do it, and so,
Good.
but yes. Also, shouts. I know we've been shouting out Ryan, at least myself,
Yeah,
has a lot, but
definitely.
shouts to him. But I guess moving into the next question, Teresa, what are some of the people that have influenced you musically? Like, I guess early on, who influenced your style, and then who kind of influences you more currently in the term, in the types of writing and
Mm,
music that you're making now?
mm. So like I said before, I was heard a lot of classical music growing up. That was a big part of my life. I feel like I had an eclectic background as far as
Okay.
music.
Yeah.
Because so there was the classical, and then my mom was always playing Gypsy Kings. So there was this kind of like, I don't know, gypsy harmonic minor scale that was always there. And my dad loved Rick James and Tom Jones, and so
Wow, what a
and Prince.
combination.
Yeah, I know. And country music. So
That you're like completely like couldn't be farther away on the spectrum of music. That is wild.
yeah. So I ended up listening to a lot of Patsy Cline growing up.
Nice.
Um, and then I also had a lot of like R&B influences. So I remember being really little, like in elementary school, and like trying to emulate Toni Braxton.
Oh,
I just
nice.
loved, I loved her voice. I still love her voice, and it was that was a huge influence, I would say.
That's awesome. I do notice the like R&B like vibes,
Hmm.
and so like I was definitely
Yeah.
excited cuz like I feel like you know every I feel like my expertise is not that type of music, and so like
Hmm.
I'm always cool. I always love having people on that obviously have a different musical perspective, and you have
Mhm.
quite a large musical spectrum, so I was very curious to just have you on just to know about the range and depth that you have, and
Mhm.
so again, talking about Tony Braxton and then saying like, oh yeah, I used to play like classical music growing up. I mean,
Mhm.
I feel like that you've already sold it as much on that.
Right.
Um, that is very cool. And so obviously that tails into my next question, Teresa, which is, for people who are checking out this interview thus far, and are like, yeah, I like what Teresa's doing. Like,
Mm.
what would be one song you recommend to like new listeners that you're like, this gives me the Tennessee Rose experience. Like, this is the one that I would recommend to other people to be like, if I came up to you on the street and was like, hey Teresa, I know you make music in under the name Tennessee Rose. Like,
Mm.
what song would you recommend me to listen to?
Hmm. So, primarily I've been doing Patsy Cline covers.
Okay.
So I have a couple recorded on my SoundCloud, and I feel like leaving on your mind. That would
Oh,
probably be the one.
there we go. Very
So,
cool. I know that you said you had mentioned covers. Do you have like original music that you're going to be coming out with, because I feel like I had a solo artist on last
mm,
month, and he had done mostly covers, and like he was working into original music. How do you feel like that perspective is, like, from where you stand? Like, was it always like Tennessee Rose, was it going to be starting out as covers and then eventually working into original material? I'm just curious because that's,
mm,
that I feel like a lot of people are like the inverse, where they have like a ton of original music and
right,
then they do the covers. So, what
right.
was kind of like your mindset on that? Or were you just like, I love Patsy Cline, so I'm just going to just record a bunch of covers of that and then work on original music?
Um, so I feel like I've been kind of toying with being more of a tribute
Okay.
to Patsy Cline, but then I've also realized that a lot of my original music can really fit nicely into it.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like obviously heavy on the Patsy Cline covers, maybe couple more like older country songs, and then I would bring in some of my originals that have a similar uh, feeling to them.
Well, best of luck because, like I said, I had checked out some of the covers and I was just like, I'm like, I wonder if she's doing like original material because like a
Mm,
lot of like I said, a lot of the content I have on here is just like people working on their material, and so
mm,
I was just like, man, I was like, she should really be writing her. I mean, not that I'm
yeah.
like forcing you into
No,
writing the
no,
material, but I was just like, I'm just like, man, it would be really cool if I could like if she was like writing from her
yeah,
perspective on like music and stuff. I feel like
yeah,
a lot of artists generally go that path, so to kind of
yeah.
like emulate stuff of Patsy Cline, and like obviously to have the consideration to be like writing
Mm,
original material. I think it's a tough road to follow, but honestly,
yeah.
if your music feels like it fits the vibe of what you're doing already, then I mean, I feel like I mean, I'm only one person, one voice, but like I feel like I would be excited to hear like
Yeah.
original material.
Yeah. No, I'm
um
glad to hear that because I feel like I have been doing a lot of original material for a long time, and anytime I mention that, everyone's surprised.
yeah,
And I know that cover bands and cover tribute bands, I mean, that's a lot of how musicians make their money, and
yeah,
I totally respect that. And I think that's not, I mean, that's part of why I was thinking about the tribute cover thing, but
sure.
obviously, like, I really enjoy Patsy Cline, and I love singing her songs, so it seemed like a natural fit.
Yeah, it's an admiration thing. Like I always think about
Yeah,
like tribute bands as like an admiration thing, and I like don't want to discount people who do tribute
yeah,
stuff. They're very talented, and obviously it takes a lot of talent to learn
yeah,
the music that they're doing a tribute for.
yeah.
But I feel like based off of like what I've had on and the people that I've talked with, I'm always like, I'm always like that typical fan that's like, "Where's your original material? I'm hoping it comes out soon,"
Oh,
and
that's
so
great.
and
I'm glad.
so
I'm glad to
I'll
hear that.
I'll keep my ears and eyes peeled for some new actual Tennessee Rose music. But
Good.
um, speaking on that term of obviously music, who have you been listening to lately? What's on your Spotify? What do you listen to on kind of a daily semi basis?
Hmm. Hmm. Let's see. Um, I feel like the band Jungle is in my
Ooh,
playlist.
okay.
Yeah. Um, now I'm like forgetting.
Blanking.
Tame Impala.
Nice. Tame Impala is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Obviously, I listen to a lot of R&B. Um, now I can't think of who I listen to. um, I would say Anderson Paak.
Oh
He,
yes,
he's a,
I've been on the Silk Sonic wave. The obviously the collaboration between him and Bruno Mars. It's just
yeah,
Motown. It
super
feels like
cool.
Motown, like 70s,
Yeah,
60s, 70s, and I can tell you I've listened to that song an ungodly amount of times just because
that's
the
great.
melody is chef's kiss.
Yes.
Love it. So yeah, Anderson Paak, yeah, he's fantastic.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, I love the answers. I feel like I wouldn't have thought, man, Teresa listens to Tame Impala, so that was the one that kind of struck me. So
Really?
they're
Okay,
they're
cool.
they're fantastic. They're a fantastic
Yeah.
band too. So shout outs to them.
Hmm.
Love their music. But next question, Teresa. This is going to be a very interesting question from your perspective because usually when I have bands on and I ask this question, they're usually able to answer this in a pretty, I guess, easier way. But um,
Hmm.
obviously, you've done a lot of Patsy Cline covers. But if there was another, artist or somebody you'd want to cover, whose other music would you be interested in just like taking a crack at?
Hmm. Um, with my band, we've been talking about doing Fiona Apple.
Ooh, okay. Do you guys have a song in mind on in terms of what Fiona Apple song?
Yeah, we were playing with Criminal.
Ooh, that's a good
Yeah.
one. It's a very
Yeah,
good
yeah.
one.
Yeah, it was funny. My bandmate sent a link, and I was like, "Yes, let's do it." And we tried to play it in rehearsal, and I was amazed. I knew most of the lyrics. Like I didn't even have to look anything up.
That's the brain working strong
hmm
for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I guess under the moniker of like Tennessee Rose, do you have any like that you would
Hmm.
just specifically like you personally would be interested in?
I like. I think his name's Marty Robbins.
I
Am I
think you're correct. If not,
okay? I'm like,
pose Brandon will figure it out and
yeah, yeah. I'm
just
just
throw
like,
something up. Yeah.
I know Marty is in there. But he's an old country western, like Wild West kind of stuff.
Ooh, okay.
And yeah, like I think one album is called like The Songs of Gunslingers or something like that. So every song is about these guys who are just like crazy, getting, into all kinds of trouble. And
I'm sure it would be very fun to sing about. I could only
yes.
I could only imagine what type of enjoyment you would be having. That I
Yeah.
would very much like to see that. So, if you have any other suggestions for Tennessee Rose, you can let her know in the comments. Maybe she'll wind up doing covers of it. Who knows? I don't know. So you'll have to let her know on what she wants. What you would like to hear her cover. But the next question, Teresa, another fun one. Favorite food to eat? What's your go-to?
Ooh. I I love waffles.
Waffles. Okay. Very. I feel like you have to go into a little bit more detail than just. Are we talking like? Because waffles can be like, you could get like a frozen Eggo waffle, or you
Oh,
can go to
true.
like some like real nice restaurant where they make some grade A waffles. So.
This is true. I guess I feel like I love the whole spectrum of waffles. I'm like, I'll go to the frozen aisle and I'm like, no trees, no, keep going. But I do love Belgian waffles anytime I'm like
Oh,
at a Friendly's or I don't know, Denny's or any kind of breakfast place. I'm like,
gotta get the waffles. I feel that. I feel that. That was like my girlfriend this weekend when we went to go get groceries. She's like, "Can I get frozen waffles?" And I was just like, "Why are you asking me? We're both adults, Like, just throw it in the just throw it in the cart. We'll buy it." Yeah. So
I
I
probably
told totally understand that. I feel like I'm gonna ask this weighted question. I held off on I don't want to say I held off on asking it. I was kind of apprehensive about asking, but I want to
Mm.
put Ryan on the spot a little bit. Since you guys are together, is it in the realm of possibility that you guys would collaborate together? Because I feel like, listen, I feel like I'm gonna put my opinion out there a little bit. I love when couples are like make music together, and maybe
Mm.
I'm just hoping that for like my girlfriend, eventually,
Oh,
because I did buy a bass and she's been wanting to play the bass, so I'm like,
nice.
fingers crossed that she like
Yeah.
picks up the bass. But like, do you guys? I guess I don't want to say any definite plans because I don't want to put like a nail in the coffin. But like, have you guys like, I guess, thought of the idea of working together and writing music together?
I would really love to jam with him and put something together. We have actually about it a little bit, and we've been so busy with work and our other projects, so we're like, how are we ever going to get this done? But we did at least,
The
share
conversation
some.
was there.
Yes, exactly. So it's in the future, not sure when, but it's definitely going to happen.
Ryan, I know you're gonna be watching this, so I didn't mean to put you under the gun, but like, I'm just saying,
Pressure's
uh,
on.
just saying, like, 'cause, it's on the internet, and I'm
Right.
talking about it, so like, it could happen, and just
Yeah.
I don't want to put things in stone, but I
Mm.
feel like the internet is about as close to stone as you possibly can get. So,
Yes, yes. We need
I
that. We need the push.
well, hopefully you'll rewatch this together. Maybe not. I don't know. You might watch it separately, but either
Right.
way, the message will still be relayed to both of you. So fingers crossed. I hope it happens. But anyway, speaking on the efforts of collaboration, Teresa, if you were to pick anybody to have like a guest spot on a future release of yours, as well as like a producer you really love, who would be on your kind of team of people that you would love to have working with you?
Ooh. Um, hmm. Can I choose a couple people?
Absolutely. I feel like since you're like a solo artist, I'm gonna give you the little extra.
Um, I feel like I feel like Tame Impala would be part of the
That would be
crew.
very cool. Okay, okay, I'm
Yeah.
feeling this. I'm feeling this. I'm feeling this. All
And
right.
I think Janelle Monáe would be awesome too.
Ooh, I would. This already sounds very interesting to me. So
Right.
I'm about this. And then do you have like somebody that you would want to be, I guess, in the producer role of like reining this whole ordeal together?
Hmm. Hmm. I'm like really bad with producers. I don't know too many. Gosh, who would I have? Hmm.
I like your lineup, so I'm trying to figure out at least if I have an opinion on this. I think I have one, but I'm gonna let you figure out yours first before I say mine. Could be the same one. Who knows?
Hmm. I don't know. I kind of feel, was it Charlie? No, I always mix up where the X is and the XCX.
I think it's Charlie. I think you're correct. It is Charlie
Okay.
XCX.
Okay.
That would
I've
be
been listening.
cool.
Yeah,
That'd
I've been
be
listening to a lot of her stuff, and especially through the
hmm
pandemic, it was very helpful.
hmm. I would be that would be very I like that. I like that a lot. My answer was I feel like I actually had two. I would say either just because of the like lineup, I would say either Pharrell
Ooh.
or Justin Timberlake. I feel like those two kind of
Oh,
have that like I
yeah.
feel like they kind of have I feel like in some capacity they have worked together, and so
Yes.
I feel like if I had to pick one person in that producer slot, I feel like either one of those two. I don't know if Timberlake produces at all, but I know for a fact Pharrell does.
Yeah.
So
Oh, Pharrell would be wicked cool. I
very
keep
cool.
forgetting, especially because he and JT are like amazing performers. So, but yeah, a lot of their work is producing.
Yes. So guys,
Super cool.
if you want to see this happen, what you have to do is you have to go on Twitter and you're gonna at Tennessee Rose if she has a Twitter. I don't know if she
Yeah.
does. She probably does because everybody on the face of the earth has social. Well, I don't want to say everybody. A lot of people do.
Right.
But anyway, you want to tag Pharrell Williams. You want to tag Tame Impala. You want to tag Janelle Monáe. And if you would
Yes.
like, you could tag us. That would be very cool. But like
Yeah.
not totally necessary. And say that you want to hear like one of the most wicked collaborations that I've ever heard in my entire life. So you can make it happen. I believe in you, internet. If we can make a movie cut that wasn't supposed to exist, then
Right.
I think we could make a music group, spontaneously form.
Yes.
Um,
I'm ready.
Next question, Teresa. Another fun one. You say you play
Mm.
bass and you sing, obviously, and I'm sure you probably play other instruments. But if there was one new instrument that you would want to learn and master, what would it be?
Hmm. Hmm. I've I've appreciated playing the drums,
Ooh.
and it's something that is so out of my realm. And maybe it's because I haven't given it enough time, but I think it's just because that's just, I don't know, it's just not for everyone.
It's out of your wheelhouse. I feel that.
Yes.
That's kind of
Yeah.
like me too, because like I play guitar and I'm learning how to
Mhm.
play bass now. Like again, kind of bass and guitar in the same
Yeah.
family, so it's not too hard to play bass. But
Right.
drumming, I don't have any hand feet coordination whatsoever. And so like for me it's like I'd love to learn how to play drums because
Yeah.
then I'm like I could be on beat, I could
Yeah.
count stuff in. It'd be
Hmm.
so fun. If I'm mad, I can just like, hit the drum super hard.
Right.
It wouldn't
Right.
obviously be good for my downstairs or neighbor across the street,
Right.
but like, it'd be very fun for me, and so I would enjoy it.
Hmm. Hmm.
But yeah, no, I totally feel you on that. I would love to learn how to play the drums, even if it's
Yeah.
not like an acoustic drum set. I would love to just
Right.
pick up an electric one and just fiddle around on it.
Yeah.
Um, but next question, Teresa, another funny one, or fun one per se. What is one guilty pleasure band that people wouldn't necessarily associate you with that you listen to? I know, like we all here at Audio Addiction do not per se have guilty pleasures because music's music, right? And you enjoy
Right.
what you like. But what's one band that people are like, man, I wouldn't expect you to listen to that, Teresa? That's pretty cool, or maybe weird. Who knows?
um, hmm. I feel like I have a lot, a lot of bands or musicians. I'm like, I don't know if I want to tell anyone I'm listening
You
to
could tell
this.
the least. You could tell the least. The least. I don't even know what the word. I'm like my brain's blanking right now. The least. I guess like the least embarrassing. I guess if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Or you could say the most embarrassing. Either way,
Yeah.
I'll take an answer.
Well, I guess I feel a little bit more empowered because now I'm hearing the music on the radio now. It's kind of like making a comeback, or maybe everyone's like, oh, I'm feeling nostalgic, let's listen to that. Um, but when I when I hear the Backstreet Boys, I'm like, yeah.
You're right. No, no, that I have to subscribe to that.
Yay.
I'm on the same train. I feel like I grew up in the '90s, so like
Hmm.
boy bands, like
Hmm.
as much as I didn't admit that at that time that I liked boy bands, I mean, anytime an In Sync or like a Backstreet Boys song comes on
Right.
the radio, I'm like, I know all the words to it.
Yes.
Like I don't even have to look at my phone. It
Right.
just comes out of like my psyche, So
Hmm.
yeah, I totally understand that. I feel that. I feel like people always get beat up over that, but
Yes.
I'm like the 2000 had like One Direction, y'all.
I know.
So I mean, come on, where
Yeah.
that boy bands, you have BTS
Right.
obviously now, and just
Right.
K-pop and stuff. So I
Hmm.
don't listen. Boy bands never die out.
Right.
People who are gonna shame Teresa for liking Backstreet Boys, you can come for me because I also like
Right.
Backstreet Boys.
Yay.
But yeah, no, I would have. I feel like that's a
Mhm.
good answer. I feel like that would be one that I wouldn't necessarily be like, yeah, I think like a boy band stan, Uh, I feel like most people always give me like they're like when I tell them like, oh yeah, I listen to like metal and stuff. They're like, what? You like don't even look like you listen to metal whatsoever. And I was just like, oh yeah, I probably listen to stuff you've never even heard of. So
I have listened to my fair share of metal as well, which might surprise people too.
that I feel like that's a little bit more surprising than the
Yeah,
Backstreet Boys thing, but I'll give you the pass. I don't want to
yeah.
completely embarrass you. I just wanted to have like a smidge. Uh, the next question, Teresa, another fun one. If you were to compile a dream tour lineup, the Teresa dream lineup, who would be on it? Obviously, you're included on it. I feel like that if I
Mhm.
didn't say that, I would be remiss to say that thing. So,
Oh man. I feel like the collaborators would that I mentioned earlier would be
oh,
like super awesome. As far as like what makes sense for like with me, I feel like Grace Potter.
nice, yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool. Um, like Janelle Monáe and Grace Potter and
Tame Impala.
Tame Impala.
that
That'd be great. Why not? That'd be great. Yeah,
that would be a very fun show. I feel like
yeah.
I would buy tickets to go see that
Nice.
100%. I feel like that would
Nice.
be very cool. So, you guys would like to buy tickets for this tour that will exist in insert year, date, time. You can get them wherever tickets are sold. No,
Yeah.
so no, I really like the lineup. I thought that was, again, big Tame Impala stan. So Tame Impala, if
Mm,
you watch this, listen, it would be very cool to have you on. If I had to plug myself, if you want to come on, that'd be very cool. Next question, Teresa. Favorite TV show, favorite movie. What's your go tos?
Um, hmm. So I always kind of half joke with my friends that, I mean, they know I don't watch a whole lot of TV.
Okay.
Uh, I have a TV, and right now it's holding a batik painting.
Okay, so this is a very non-existent question for you to
But
answer.
but there is something on, I think it was on Netflix. And I can never remember the name of this every time I'm trying to explain it to people, but it's an animated podcast, essentially. A very psychedelic uh, imagery.
Oh, I think I know what it is, and my brain
Yeah.
is going through a brain fart moment right now. It was.
I don't know
I
why.
know what it is too. I just can't. If you remember it, Teresa, make sure to message me, and we'll put the text on screen
Okay.
because we both forgot. So,
Yes. I am like, I do this every single time I tell someone about it. I'm like, it's begins with an M, maybe. I don't know.
I feel you. I feel you on that one.
But it's very cool, very like talks about very heady topics and uncomfortable topics, and it's all animated, and you're like partly watching this craziness ensuing that's almost related to what the conversation is, but in a completely different context. And it's just fascinating and
Very cool.
crazy, wonderful.
I'll have to watch it actually because I know what it. I know, like I know I've seen it. I just can't. I
Yeah,
can't wrap my brain around it. And then, what is your favorite? Did you pick a favorite movie, Teresa?
movie. Um, as far as like influential movies, as far as like the singing and such, I can think of The Little Mermaid.
Ooh, there we go. That's a
So
classic.
maybe not my favorite necessarily overall
Sure.
movie, but
One
you
that
know that.
is your favorite that you can remember currently. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Honestly, I thought for sure you were gonna say some sort of like Broadway esque
Mm.
movie, if I was gonna be honest. So I'm
Right,
glad. I was
right.
like, I was like, oh yeah. I was like, if I really had to get, if cause I get good at reading people and stuff.
Mm.
I was like, I think she's gonna say that. And then you're like Little Mermaid. And I was like, wow, I was way off on that one. So gonna have
I
to.
think it could be that my brain is like, we're not going to remember anything.
And then you're gonna remember it after it's done because I can tell you how many times that I've done an interview. People were like, "I remembered all my answers.
Yeah,
Here's just a bunch of words that you can add on to the interview." So if
right.
it comes to that point, again, more words on the screen. But
True, true.
next question, Teresa: if you were trapped on a desert island for the next month and there was one record you could bring with you to listen to, what record would it be?
A Prince album.
Oh, okay. Which
I don't,
which Prince record?
whichever had Kiss on it. I'm really bad with the record list.
It's okay. I'll again throw it up on the screen for everybody to know. Listen, I go through a very bad series of brain farts, and I can imagine that I have had a slew of brain farts throughout this entire day because I've
Oh,
got home and I have this. You are my third interviewer, and I still have one after this one. So
oh my
my
gosh.
brain is complete garbage right now. So
Oh
I feel you on that. So
no.
post Brandon's on the case. Um, but the next question, Teresa, is kind of I would say it's a little bit more of a weighted one, but um, you know, what do you want people to take away from like your music under obviously under your name Tennessee Rose? Like I know that you are doing a lot of covers now,
Mhm.
and hopefully, fingers crossed, you'll be doing some solo work. What do you want people to like that are new listeners that are like, man, I have not heard of this chick and I'd really want to like know more and stuff. So, what do you want people to take away as new listeners to your music?
Um, hmm. I I do want to do more original music, and I do want to combine all of these interests of this kind of country folk soul combination.
Yes.
So perhaps I can create kind of a this mesh of a new genre potentially, or not shy away from all of these influences I have.
It's I'm trying to mash up the words right now. It's like, oh man, I'm literally blanking. Country soul. I don't know. Whatever. I'm gonna
Yeah.
think of some dumb name, but yes, I agree. Like, I hope that you're able to. I hope that, again, if this inspires you to write original music, it would be very cool to hear that. And I think like as I've had so many artists on and stuff doing this, like it's really cool to see like people's way of expressing and like kind of viewing different points of life, and everybody has comes from different backgrounds and different
Mm,
places, and so again, it would be very cool to see that. Obviously I love the covers, but it'd be very cool to see like your perspective on certain things going on in your life. So
mm.
go check out Teresa, Tennessee Rose. Obviously, I would give the floor to you. Tell the people where they can find you on social media, what you have coming up, in the very near future, and anything else you would like to plug or talk about.
Okay. You can find, so I have a website, tennesseerose.net. That's probably the easiest way to find all of my stuff because I have the links to SoundCloud and
There you go.
Instagram and Facebook, and um, I'm kind of doing a whole lot of things underneath either my name or Tennessee Rose. So I've got all kinds of art and music and craziness. So that's probably the best platform.
There we go. Well, go check out Tennessee Rose again. I want to thank Ryan again for setting this up.
Mm.
Um, Undoubtedly great dude. So shout outs to him. And also, again, I'm gonna say it again to the camera, like, you and Teresa collaborate, and that would be very cool. And again, not totally forcing you, but like totally insinuating that that should happen. So go check out again Tennessee Rose. All of the links will be below, especially to our website where you can find out all of our stuff on social media. Go check out our covers, and then fingers crossed for original material coming out soon. And if you want to see her collaborate with Tame Impala, Pharrell Williams, and Janelle Monáe, you know what to do. You just gotta go on the computer or go on your phone and add all of these people on Twitter. And who
Yes.
knows, it might happen. I hope it happens. You put it out in ether, positive reinforcement,
Right.
and so hopefully that happens. And if you enjoyed this interview, more importantly, share, like, and subscribe. I know I say it a lot all the time, but honestly, if you like my content, it helps me know
Mm.
whether or not you like it or not. So that's always a good thing. And huge thanks to Teresa for coming on tonight and talking with me.
Thank you, Brandon. This was a pleasure. This is really fun.